Okay folks, another challenging one. I don't know how this one's going to work. It's going to be a difficult one. I want to make it as a movement piece, but it's made of rubber, which means it's not going to move all that easily. So I'm going to try and do my best with this one, however much I can. I seem to be hitting a lot of bum notes today on my demos. They don't seem to be turning out as brilliantly as I'd like them to, which I really hate. I do like my demos to look good, the pieces of work that I finished to look good, not to look shit. But it's a part of doing this work that you don't always get a result that you want. You got a fairly limited amount of time. Oh, of course, indefinite, but sometimes my demos do go for more than 20 minutes. But you don't want to do that all the time. And how much you invest in your demos also matters. So just trying to use my intuition here. Okay, what do we got? We got here a pair of very boutique children's swimming goggles, and these ones are called Bling 2O, as in H2O, water. This time bling, so they look really fancy little gogs you got here. So I'm going to move them around, which is not going to be easy. Let's see how that went. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting. I do think we could probably use it. That looks really strange and interesting. Wondering where the centre of the job is going to be, if it's going to be there or there. Maybe we'll do another one. Try another version of that. Yeah, that looks interesting. I don't know, I like this version better. It's got more action. Wondering if we're going to maybe stretch it, or don't know. Which one are we going to use? We're going to use that one, and we're going to just maybe skim it off at the top and then maybe stretch it on the horizontal. This part looks a bit too dark. We want to focus on that. So I think now we're just going to switch over to here, and we're just going to make the horizontal 120 and the vertical just 104. So we're just going to redonate these. So I'm going to try and skim that much off. So we're just going to use it like that and put it over the edge like so. And slide it down just to get the edge. Okay, time to get some action happening. Yeah, that looks better. Still looks like I'd like to see that more up, because I do like that flash. That flash looks really good. I'm going to move it up, or should I say left, actually. move it across. So we're just moving it across. I think that's moved across enough. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer with this pandemic, our coronavirus still in play. I wonder how people are going to go to the aquatic centres and all that sort of stuff to enjoy their swimming and that, or whether they're going to be closed. That'd be an interesting thing to see if they close the aquatic centres, because so many people love to swim. I used to be a swimmer when I was a kid and a teenager, early teens. I used to love swimming, just jumping in the pool or going to the beach. Of course, I think you're allowed to go to the beach. A lot of people earlier on in this lockdown were flocking to the beach to escape the lockdown blues, you could say. Well, I must admit I feel pretty depressed about this lockdown we're having, but I know it's necessary, and I want to acknowledge that we have to go with it. You know, we have to follow the rules, and however much the rules are boring and restrictive. What else can we do, folks? What else can we do? We can't... It's not like the good old days when we didn't have this damn fucked up pandemic. I wish I could go back to the days when there was no pandemic, there was no 9/11. Things were happening that were really good. You know, the early 90s. And when when even mobile phones were not quite affordable to the average pundit, and everything was simple and easy. Easy sort of life. No pandemics and no 9/11. You know, the old Twin Towers that went down with the terrorist attack. So we had a time where things were more romantic, things were more easy, simple. Of course, I love the internet and I love mobile phones, but there was a time when photocopiers were more popular, and the photocopier industry was making better equipment, and hiring people that really cared about the industry and about the people that it served. Nowadays, the photocopier industry doesn't support people like myself who want to make it better. So there's a lot of things. It's not just the pandemic, it's not just 9/11. It's just the way things have just lost their humanness. Everything's dehumanising. Everything's about money. The love of money, folks. That's what's driving this shit. For all we know, COVID-19 or coronavirus was driven perhaps by the love of money, in large part, to do with climate change and deforestation, whatever. It's a bit of a speculation as to what's caused this disease, but there's got to be, mankind must have done something wrong to trigger it. So I don't like the 2020s now. They're fucked. And I hate the way people get really excited about a new year when it's New Year's Eve. And we're in a lockdown. This is not what we celebrate on New Year's Eve. So fuck off. This idea that this year is going to be good just because we're at the cusp of a new year. Silly parties and celebrations and all that. Anyway, that looks nice, but I do think we can do a switcheroo. I'm just going to switch these around. This might look better, I do think. It is an unusual type of piece we've got. Sorry, I'm pointing this phone in the wrong place. I'm pointing it down, which I'm always doing, which is ruins the way my work is shown. I just have this habit of pointing my phone down. I've been whinging about that a lot today. But things were more romantic in the early 90s. But now that looks interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.